again, I mean, when it comes to Tottenham, I don't know what to expect because with Tottenham, it's like you just never know in which bracket you can put them in, right? Because it's like sometimes you would think that maybe Spurs are a team that could challenge, pose a serious challenge for, the league title, but with their inconsistency, knowing how inconsistent Spurs is, you can never even, count them as like being the favorites to actually win the Premier League title. You know what I'm saying? And even in yesterday's game against Bournemouth, it proved exactly that. You know what I'm saying? Because Bournemouth just like leapfrogged Spurs. They were just like out of all sorts, And yes, give credit, shout out to like Dean Hutchinson's header, which actually secured them a deserved 1-0 victory at the Vitality Stadium. But look, on a perspective of Spurs, I would be very disappointed. You know what I'm saying? And the Spurs boss, Ange Postecoglou, was actually confronted by angry supporters at the final whistle, later revealing that he received pretty direct feedback following their seventh loss in 11 Premier League away games. That is basically 7 defeats in 11 Premier League away games for Spurs. And at 19 years old, 235 days, Huijsen, becomes the youngest Cherry Premier League goal scorer when he actually made Marcus Tavernier's corner after 17 minutes. So he's the youngest Premier League goal scorer for, Bournemouth, the home side. You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of like sums up Tottenham, so far, right? Yes, of course they will play European football next season, but looking at you know how they've been playing of late, they are so inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? If it's not them conceding too many goals, it's like their midfield is just like in shambles, you know. But look, let's just get back to the game. You know what I'm saying? So we did see that Ryan Christie, he struck the frame of the goal while Ivan Nilsson actually had his effort choked off for an offside by VAR in what, it could have actually been, a heavier defeat for Spurs, who now slipped to 10th in the standings following a sixth loss of the campaign. You know what I'm saying? And you also look at the fact that, look, this result actually means that it is Tottenham have only managed one victory in 6 games. You know what I'm saying? Less than a fortnight since he actually witnessed his side's 4-0 victory at champions Manchester City. You know what I'm saying? And you would think that they would actually start drawing inspiration from that magnificent performance at the Etihad, but it doesn't seem like it. It's the same old inconsistent Tottenham Hotspur team that we are so accustomed to. But Spurs to even add to their woes, right? Spurs have now actually lost 9 of their last 13 away games in the Premier League. But such inconsistency is not something Bournemouth boss, Andoni Iraola needs to concern himself with at present. With his side actually rising to 9th on 21 points. You know what I'm saying? So they basically literally like in the top half of the table. And for that, Bournemouth have actually earned another home scalp. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that, look, Bournemouth could have actually killed the game off. They had so many clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities. But luckily for them, they could actually finish the job. But it was a moment during the game where I would say that, look, if you don't kill them, you know what I'm saying, they're going to punish you. You know what I'm saying? So, luckily, Bournemouth, they didn't actually get punished for missing those chances that they actually did miss. You know what I'm saying? But however, look, I must say, Bournemouth, I'm actually impressed with their performance. It could have been like 3-4-0, you know what I'm saying, or even 5, had they just converted most of the chances that they created in the second half. You know what I'm saying? And back to Spurs, Tottenham actually continued to dominate possession in the game. You know what I'm saying? But Bournemouth actually remained the greater threat after breaking the deadlock. You know what I'm saying? Tavernier, had the ball in the net 14 minutes after the opener, but it was actually clearly offside. Before later seeing his close range header from Milos Kirkis' cross actually being clawed away by Fraser Foster. And despite Spurs' shortcomings, Postecoglou opted, against changes at the break. But apart from Song Heung-min's disallowed strike for offside, Spurs produced an even more inspirited second half display. They didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing much that they produced. That's just how disappointing Spurs have been. You know what I'm saying? And man, they just weren't good enough at all. They weren't. The goal that they conceded was so poor, and they've just lost. the game was just lost immediately when you could tell when Bournemouth got the ball into the back of the net. When they were actually leading by a goal to nil, you could tell that look, the game is actually lost for Spurs. You know what I'm saying? But look, hopefully from this particular moment in time, they will actually work on this and not shoot themselves in the foot as they often do. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it, Bournemouth actually coming into this game, they made two changes from their win away at Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was Anton Semenyo who actually came back from suspension to actually replace David Brooks. And in the goal scorer, June Hutchinson, he came in for, Marcus Senesi, who actually dropped out of the squad. And on the side of Tottenham Hotspur, you saw their striker Dominic Solanke return from a minor injury to start alongside Archie Gray and the informed, Dejan Kuleszewski, replacing captain Son Heung-min, Timo Werner, as well as Pedro Porro. So it was not actually a great return for Dominic Solanke at the Vitality Stadium. Not a great return at all.